Welcome to Katgola Palace and Gardens in Nasipur, Murshidabad, a place of grandeur, devotion, memory and legend. Spread across nearly 45 acres, Katgola is far more than a palace. It is a world of gateways, gardens, water bodies, monuments, sacred spaces and remarkable craftsmanship, all shaped by the vision of one extraordinary man, Rai Bahadur Lakshmipat Singh Ji Dugar. But Katgola is not remembered for architecture alone. It is also a place where family history, oral tradition, faith, and personal dignity still echo through every corridor and garden path. This estate was once known as Chhattarbagh Palace and Gardens. Over time, however, it came to be known as Katgola. According to family tradition, that name grew out of the rare and beautiful cut roses once cultivated here. The gardens became known as Katgola Bagan, the garden of prized roses, and through common use, the name slowly evolved into Katgola. The palace was built in 1870 by Rai Bahadur Lakshmipat Singh Ji Dugar of Baluchar, now part of Azimganj, where his family was known for banking, landholding, philanthropy, and patronage of culture. There was also a practical reason behind its creation. At the family's ancestral home in Azimganj, the Parda system was observed and non-Hindu guests could not easily be entertained there. So Rai Bahadur envisioned a separate palace and pleasure garden, a place where Europeans, Nawabs and dignitaries could be received with elegance and honor. That decision gave Murshidabad one of its most distinctive heritage complexes, a place where hospitality, ceremony, art and status came together in singular form. The palace itself is a striking three-storied structure, marked by huge Corinthian pillars and a rich fusion of Greek, Italian, Rajasthani, Mughal and Bengal architectural influences. Its interiors reflected the same refined vision: Italian marble, intricate mosaic floors, Bengal limework, polished shell lime pillars, carved wood, chandeliers, period furniture, alabaster and marble artifacts, porcelain pieces, Belgian mirrors, fine glasswork, and important paintings once filled these rooms with a cosmopolitan elegance. The furniture, crafted from rosewood and other precious woods, spoke of immense taste and careful patronage. The gardens too were richly adorned, with marble and porcelain flower stands, carved wells of Mirzapuri stone, Italian marble fountains and statues, terracotta ornament, stone jaffrays, cast iron chairs, and beautifully carved marble dining tables for evening gatherings. Family history remembers Rai Bahadur Lakshmipat Singh Ji as a man of quiet confidence, great taste, and unmistakable dignity. One famous story captures that spirit perfectly. During a visit to Calcutta, he entered the grand showroom of Osler and Company, one of the most prestigious European luxury houses of the time. Dressed simply in a cotton angarkha and dhoti, he was underestimated by the English manager, who assumed that such a plainly dressed Indian gentleman could not possibly afford the treasures on display. Amused, Rai Bahadur calmly asked the total value of everything in the showroom. The manager named the astonishing sum of 2 lakh rupees. At that very moment, Rai Bahadur's retinue arrived. He instructed his cashier to pay the full amount and purchase the entire collection for Katgola. Only then did the manager realize who stood before him. Stunned and embarrassed, he begged for time to fulfill such an enormous order. Rai Bahadur, ever the gentleman, granted it. And so, by family tradition, the treasures of Osler and Company sailed from London to Murshidabad, and Katgola was adorned. Yet the true destiny of Katgola was shaped not by luxury, but by devotion. When the palace was completed, Rai Bahadur invited his mother to visit and bless it. She asked him just one question: was there a mandir within the estate? When she learned there was none, she refused to go there. To her, no house was complete without a temple. Rai Bahadur immediately honored her wish. He built the Mandir of Shri Shri Adinathji, dedicated to the first Jain Tirthankar, along with a Dadabari within the complex. He then dedicated the entire estate to Shri Shri Adinathji, converting it into a debutter estate, a sacred endowment. From that moment, Katgola was no longer merely a pleasure garden or a symbol of status. It became a place of faith. Founded in 1874, the temple remains one of the spiritual heartbeats of the estate. It is remembered for its terracotta murals, mosaic flooring, polished shell-lime columns, and the revered idol of Shri Shri Adinathji, which family tradition holds to be more than 900 years old. Among the most cherished stories associated with Katgola is the story of Dada Guru and the miracle remembered as Hundi Ka Bhugtan Karayo. Rai Bahadur Lakshmipat Singh Ji was one of the great bankers of his age. In those days, commerce often moved through hundis, financial instruments based entirely on trust. Family tradition tells us that his rivals once conspired to ruin him by demanding repayment of all his hundis on a single day. Sensing disaster, Rai Bahadur turned to Dada Guru in prayer and entered deep meditation. In that sacred trance, tradition says, he received the blessings and guidance of Dada Guru Jin Dutt Suriji, who directed him toward help from a trusted friend in the Tagore household. Soon, bullock carts laden with gold mohars arrived. When creditors came to demand payment, they were led one by one into the treasury chambers and repaid in full. But as they passed through the underground vaults, they saw room after room still overflowing with bags of gold. At once, panic gave way to confidence. Those who had come to withdraw their money now began pleading to deposit it back, realizing there could be no safer banker than Rai Bahadur Lakshmipat Singh Ji. That memory survives in the 10th puja of Dada Guru in the famous line, "Be a devotee like Lakshmipat Singh, whose hundis were redeemed through the grace of Dada Guruji." His legacy rested not only on wealth but on lineage, public duty and spiritual discipline. The family traced its ancestry to the Agni-Bans Rajput Chauhan dynasty, and generations earlier, one ancestor is said to have embraced Jainism, shaping the spiritual path the family followed thereafter. In Bengal, the Dugars became closely associated with Baluchar, from where the celebrated Baluchari sari tradition emerged. The family were major patrons of its weavers, helping sustain one of Bengal's most treasured textile arts. Rai Bahadur himself was honored by the British with the title of Rai Bahadur in 1867, in recognition of his public service and charitable work during a time of hardship. A strict Jain in practice, he is also remembered for banning fishing in the stretch of the Bhagirathi under his control. And such was the regard in which he was held that the Maharaja of Jaipur honored him as a Pagdi Badal Bhai, a brother by exchange of turbans. Across Katgola, the estate still speaks. The Naubat Khana, the grand three-storied entrance, once welcomed guests with Shehnai, Nagada drums, flowers and rose water. The Bauri or stepwell descends in sculpted stone into the cool earth below. The 5 ponds, the bandstand, the Belgian glass house, the Zenana Mahal, the former zoo, and the flowering and fruit-bearing gardens, including the estate's famed exotic mangoes, all preserve the memory of a vanished world. This is Katgola, not just a palace, but one of Murshidabad's great living memories.